Melissa and I asked former San Francisco Mayor Willie Brown, who's no stranger to making controversial remarks, what was up with the senator at the Commonwealth Club.
Well, unfortunately for her, she was intellectualizing about politics, and you cannot do that in this world. We don't vote on the basis of how much we understand it.
We vote on the basis of what?
Well, Dianne Feinstein's appearance at the Commonwealth Club, I watched it. They're on YouTube. They have a great podcast. I recommend it. But she said a lot of things that progressives to love, like how she's working in Congress to enshrine DACA, how she's working to help fix Obamacare. And at one point she says, I have hope that maybe Donald Trump could, grow up or something like that. And that's the thing everybody seizes on. I can't imagine how sensitive you have to be to seize on that in an hour of speaking, the one comment that everyone lost their mind about.
That's how Trump got elected. That's exactly how he got elected. People these days are making their decisions based on instant gratification, and they come to listen to you to find only that one thing which they want you to talk about.
Reinforcement.
That is correct.
And
when you don't do it,
the path at all.
And when you stay logical and sensible and comprehensive, their listening span, not understanding span, but that listening span goes down to almost zero. And she was a victim of zero understanding.
Well, and also if when you start keeping people to like these incredibly specific purity standards, maybe you can get 25 or 30% of the vote, but your people aren't going to get elected unless they can appeal to 51%. So these kinds of tests, these kinds of crackdowns on someone who's got a long record of leftist causes is really disheartening and kind
of
baffling.
But she's always been seen as the moderate and as the centrist in California politics. Question: immediately after the as they say, it went viral, we had elements of the Democratic Party said, "Aha, it's proof. It's time for her to step down."
Well, they're
or run somebody against her.
They just need an excuse to run.
They really are looking for a reason to try to go after Dianne. And Dianne sets it up beautifully, because every time somebody does that, it's fun watching their heads get chopped off.
It's fun that anyone thinks that they can pressure her to do anything.
After all these years, yeah, exactly. That's one thing you cannot do with Dianne Feinstein is put the heat or the squeeze.
She's going to run or not run or do what she's going to do, and that's it.
How the president reacts is often a gauge about exactly where he stands with the American public, and reaction to whatever stance he takes is quick. So that's why Melissa and I asked former San Francisco Mayor Willie Brown about his thoughts about the president's trip to Texas.
He did exactly what he should have done. He has almost zero credibility on empathy. It is as if that gene never, ever visited his system. And believe me, he did not go to where the disaster actually was. He went right next door. And then he did exactly what a rich guy does. He then proceeded to say, "You asked for a contribution? Here is one." And he provides $1 million, and other people start replicating that. And all of a sudden, many people have forgotten what he said about Charlottesville.
Well, it hasn't been unnoticed that the person who went in and was hugging people and really getting on the ground and going to places that were actually flooded was Vice President Mike Pence. Some are calling this sort of, alarmingly presidential acts on his part to come in after Trump was widely criticized for being, sort of hands-off. And I'm just going to stay back here and write a check. Pence is the one sort of, getting in there with the people, and that hasn't gone unnoticed.
It's interesting. When we have these disasters, the president is measured in the first 72 hours. George Bush was vilified for not going to Katrina sooner. Mm-hmm. Sometimes if you show up right away, you're vilified for grandstanding. Where's the line?
Well, I think you have to be very, very careful, because you could also be interfering with the ability of the first responders to rescue people. All of the resources that goes to protect you and provide you with the security you need, all those resources should be saving lives. And you're far better sitting back and waiting for that and taking the heat for allegedly being indifferent, where you will not be indifferent if you announce instantly $150 billion problem. I'm going to pick it up as the federal government.
Well, we do want to point out, of course, when Trump went back to the area, he was hugging people. He served them hot dogs. And for those of you who care, Melania Trump wore very sensible shoes. So,
all right.